Alright, loves, I hope the NWEA went well yesterday. Today we are looking at negative and zero exponents. So I want you to remember some of our rules, right? So we had the product rule, where we would add the products together if we had the same base. Remember the quotient rule, where we would say the top minus the bottom exponent. And we had the the power rule, where we would multiply them if they're being raised to the power. So today, our examples look like our product rule, where we would add them together. So let's look at some examples. So 2 to the 4th power times 2 to the negative 2nd power. That's a negative sign. So I would say that this equals 2. We keep our base, and then we add them. So adding the opposite is the same as subtraction. So 4 minus 2 equals 2 to the 2nd power, right? So this one is very interesting. I wonder if you guys remember what you were told about zero exponents, because remember, if we just have 1, that is like 2 to the 1st power, so we have 1 minus 1 here, which is 2 to the 0 power. If we have 0 of them, we have just 1. Anything to a 0 power is 1. So 3 times 3 to the negative 3. So this would be like 3, this is 1, right? 1 minus 3. And this is 3 to the negative 2. Well, we can't have negative exponents. Do you remember what a negative exponent means? It means it's in the denominator. So we put a 1 on top and write 3 to the 2nd power below it. We can't deal with negative exponents. We have to put them in the basement. So 3 squared times 3 to the negative 3rd. This would be like 3 to the 2 minus 3. And that ends up being 3 to the negative 1. Well, again, we still have to put it in the basement. And 3 to the 1st power is just 3. So we would just write this as 1/3. So those are some very special circumstances, right? If we had 2 to the 0 power times 2 to the negative 3 power, this is just like 1, but you could also write it as 2 to the 0 minus 3. It still gives you 2 to the negative 3rd power, which is 1 times 2 to the negative 3rd power, right? But remember, we can't deal with negative exponents. We have to put them in the basement, and then we can solve them, because we can figure out 2 to the 3rd power. Alright, sometimes we'll have multiple exponents. We will have multiple exponents, but sometimes we'll also have multiple variables, or even just variables. So if you're looking at variables, b to the 0, b squared, remember we would be adding them. 0 plus 2 is just b squared. 2a to the 0 times 3a. Remember, we have to multiply our coefficients, and then we have a to the 0 plus another a is just a, right? 0 plus 1 is 1. They can begin to be a little bit tricky. 3b cubed times b to the negative 3. Well, remember our product rule says we're adding them, so 3 minus 3 is 0. So 3b to the 0 is really 3 times 1, which is just 3. I know it's a lot to remember, guys. That's why I'm having you write these down. All right, 3n to the negative 4th times 2n to the negative 2nd power. So again, we're multiplying coefficients, and then we're adding. So negative 4 minus 2 is a negative 6. We can't deal with negative exponents, so we have to put it in the basement. We could figure out n to the 6th power, and then we would say 6 divided by n to the 6th power. Okay? Does that make sense? I guess we don't need to deal with multiple variables today, but I will give you a couple more difficult ones to try on your own. How about we try 3x to the negative 3 times 2x, and let's also try 4n squared times 3n to the 4th times 3n to the negative 3 power. So first, remember we're multiplying, so 3 times 2, that was easy. Now we're adding our exponents because they're being multiplied and they're the same base. So negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 2. Now remember, we can't deal with negative exponents. We put them in the basement. Put them in the denominator. Alright, now let's try this one. So we have to multiply our coefficients. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. That wasn't so bad. Now we're going to add our exponents. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. So even though that looked really daunting, if we followed what we knew, we were able to complete that easy peasy, no problem, right? All right, guys, happy Wednesday. The week is already halfway over. Have a wonderful day.